What's up, everybody? Uh, Trying to sport the cold atmosphere as I give you this movie review of Let It Go, or sorry, Frozen 2. Um, so yeah, let's get into this. The first one was a huge success, um, and so it's been a couple years, and boom, here we go. Here's Frozen 2. And what I will say, just to let you guys all know, this isn't a spoiler. Um, there is an after credit scene, so and it's all the way at the very very end, and it's not game changing by any means or whatever. So if you have kids and they're antsy and that kind of stuff, you don't necessarily need to keep them. It's just a quick little cute, I don't know, 20-second little clip or whatever. It's more for humor. It's nothing story wise. So I'll just kind of leave it at that, and you can decide in that moment whether you want to stay through all the credits or not. The movie isn't very long, actually. Well, compared to most releases, it seems like lately. It comes in at like an hour 44, 45, around there. So it's less than 2 hours. And honestly, going into it, it seemed a little. It seemed like it was longer, honestly. My biggest uh, qualm with the movie is literally the story. And it's crazy because the story in the first film was what made the movie. It's like, holy cow, like it's been a while since I feel like there's just been just a movie that's come out of nowhere. It's just been a huge classic, like Frozen has. And I'm not saying there hasn't been some good ones or whatever, but at this level, to sit there and compare like Frozen to, the original like Lion King, and Snow White, Cinderella, all these like classic movies and that kind of stuff. It's rare that one comes more recently. And it's because that story I feel like was well executed. And that was the downfall in this one. So there's moments where, yeah, it's definitely a stretch. There's a lot of holes in it, a lot of things they just completely don't explain. It just has a lot of issues for me story wise. It and this is in the first one too, and that kind of stuff. But it's even like some of the aspects that they create in the films just kind of don't fully make sense to me or whatever. In the aspect of like the codependency between each other and stuff, like it almost feels like you can't have, I don't know, without Elsa and vice versa and that kind of stuff. Which part of that makes the film the sisterly love and that kind of stuff. At the same time, like I do like some independency between them, and that's all I'm going to touch on that. What I will say though, in this second film, it literally has my favorite scene out of all of them. I never saw Olaf's Christmas thing or whatever, so I'm assuming this scene is better than that little short special that he did. There's a moment in this movie. This isn't ruining anything. Don't worry. But he just kind of does a recap. Now, this scene, get ready. Do not go to the bathroom. If your kid is crying, I don't know what to do in that situation. I don't have a kid. But, maybe the guy next to you, hand them your child. No, don't do that. I'm just kidding. But this scene is by far the funniest thing in all of the Frozens. Like, I will watch this clip again. It's absolutely hilarious. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna tell you anything else about it other than get ready for that. If you don't laugh at that clip, we gotta work on your humor. So outside of that, that's what I will say is, yeah, where the story fell short, the comedy went up to a whole new bar. It, man, I laughed way more than I was expecting to in this movie. And not just from Olaf, you know, like that's the thing. Like Olaf was kind of like the comedy relief in the first one, and they gave liberties to a lot of people in this one, and I really enjoyed that because uh, it branches it out a little bit, and that's why I'm saying I feel like I laughed way more than I was expecting because it came from characters that I wasn't expecting as well. Um, Another thing about this film is I personally feel like they tried a little bit too hard on the music side. And this is coming from a music guy, you know, this one felt sometimes a little bit forced. Um, Whereas the first one, again, it felt natural with the songs. This one, though, uh, I feel like Let It Go was such a huge success that they're hoping that one of these will do the exact same thing. I personally don't think so. There is one really cool song that I enjoyed. I don't even know the name of the song, actually. Uh, my guess is it's going to be called Into the Unknown. Um, I actually didn't see who or the song title that is. But that's my opinion, kind of the new version of the Let It Go in this one, and I think they crushed that one in this film, Frozen 2. But at the same time, I don't feel like I mean, when you have a song that big, I mean, it's hard to top it, you know. I give them an applaud for trying that kind of stuff, but yeah, I do feel like some of the songs in this film were a little bit forced. Um, so with that kind of being said, you know, I wasn't a huge fan of the story. I laughed way more than I was expecting. Uh, some things that they executed in the first one, I felt like was a little bit backwards in this one. Overall, though, it I enjoyed my time. I kind of didn't go in there with very high hopes. Some people might because of how successful the first one was. I went into this film expecting a sequel kind of mentality, and it was a little bit better than I expected. For me personally, though, I'd rate this film easily a 7 out of 10. Um, and for me, like I'm glad I saw it. Will I go back to theaters and see it? No. Do I think I'll buy it on DVD? No. Um, but if it was on, you know, a streaming thing or anything like that, Disney Plus or something, if it was on, you know, I wouldn't mind watching it and that kind of stuff by any means. It was one of those films that I enjoyed watching, but not enough to make me want to go see it again. So that's the quick movie review. All right, I don't know, 8 minutes some, or maybe that's not so quick, but that's the movie review. Again, there is an after credit scene after all of the credits, so yes, you have to sit through all that and acknowledge everybody that made that film possible. So, which I don't mind. In fact, sometimes I like to just read through the names and try and pronounce how some people's names would be pronounced. But yeah, make sure you stay for the after credit if you can. I will say you know, everybody else left. It was really funny. And it's like, man, maybe there's not one, and there happened to be. So everybody who left, they missed it. Most of the theater had children, so I can understand that though. So I just want to give you that forewarning going into this film, so that way you can either plan on it or not. So there we have it, guys. Thank you so much. Like always, be sure to comment below. Let me know what you thought. If you have any questions or anything like that. If you liked it, push the little like button. And then, sorry about that. That must have been leftover popcorn. And like always too, hit the subscribe button if you enjoy these. That way you can stay up to date on my next one. Thank you, guys.